Hi, I'm outside in this lovely weather, the lull between the two typhoons, and we're midway through the Hong Kong International Comedy Festival. Last week I interviewed Scott Mitchell. This week I'm interviewing Steve Lee, who's in the finals this Saturday on the 22nd of October. Next week I'll be interviewing Kevin Berry, who's opening for Paul Agata next Thursday, the 27th at Champs in Wan Chai. And right now I'm just Googling on YouTube, Citizen Kane skating, never judge a cripple by his cane. Whoa, there's some disabled guy. He's throwing away his crutches. He's skateboarding.
Goddamn, I'm glad y'all
yeah! Look at you! Woo! And now I see you on a video with me. There we are, Stephen Lee.
Hey, what's up?
Skateboard god on YouTube there.
Disabled crutch comedian on a skateboard.
That's
and
so
also
cool.
I have a bowling one.
Yeah, I saw it.
Yeah.
I saw it. Oh man, that's awesome. That's great. Have you been on any really weird gigs and then really unusual ones?
Wow, tell me about it.
Yeah, lots.
Okay, let me think.
Yeah.
So the weirdest gig was in the library at 2 p.m. in one of those small conference rooms.
Yeah.
So the guy books a room that's free for the public, but you have to pre-book it.
Yeah.
I think he paid for like $50.
Yeah.
So he just had people outside the library. Hey, we got a comedy show. And okay, so I don't know.
2 p.m. bright.
Yes.
Office daylight.
Yes.
Hours.
2 p.m. in a public library, in a conference room inside, and then he put on flyer out there and all that. And then, you know what? This is just half of the story.
Yeah.
It was the biggest sport game in America every year. It's called the Super Bowl.
Yes.
And its Super Bowl started was going to start. Let's say my show is 2 p.m. right?
Yeah.
The Super Bowl is 3 p.m.
Yeah.
So there would be like nobody there other than old people or people who don't care about sport.
Oh no.
And there were about 7 to 8 people.
Oh.
There were some people there. It was a year and a half into comedy.
Yeah. So are you doing it full time at this point?
No. So it was pretty much.
You've done open mics for a year and a half.
So that's one thing about comedy. You gotta, you can't tell your jokes in front of your stuffed animal at home.
Yeah.
You gotta go out and do it in front of real people.
Yeah.
And you don't expect to get paid much.
Yeah.
At the beginning. So that was one of the weirdest gigs in the world.
And this was a paid gig?
No.
No, but...
Yeah, by the way, that's not a paid gig. I don't think that guy could even afford to pay for his apartment.
So what did you do with just 7 or 8 people in a broad daylight office hours situation in a conference room? Not conducive to laughter.
Okay, here's the thing. I do mostly cleaner material, but it's cleaner naughty, let's say.
Yeah.
Because I joke about my disability.
Yeah.
And I don't purposely use profanity words unless I do a club show.
Yeah. Oh, just quickly, because this is an audio podcast, and maybe there's someone on this planet that hasn't heard of you. What is your disability? Can you?
You know what? I can never pronounce that word. But okay, basically, I finally found a geneticist.
Okay.
Thanks for Obamacare. They told me it's not a genetic mutation.
Okay.
So it's a birth problem when my mom had me.
Yeah.
So it kind of injured my spinal or that kind of cell.
Mm-hmm.
And then my muscle, my joint, you can see my joint kind of tilted.
Is it related to, for example, cerebral palsy?
No, it has nothing to do with those.
Interesting.
It just, like the fetus states, the fetus was damaged. Part of it. It affected the growth of my joints. So it tilted. You can see it tilted. And the muscles are, instead of growing, let's say, normal people, 80% muscle cells, right?
Yes.
an 80 to 90, mine would be like 60% muscle cell or 50% muscle cell.
Right.
The other are fats.
Mm.
So that's why I can't dunk.
You can't dunk.
I can't dunk.
A basketball.
Yep. I know.
But you get about. Sit on the skateboard.
I can. That was my stunt double. So yeah, that's my condition. So I nowadays, because of my knee problem.
Oh.
My knees about.
Has it affected
70,
all of your joints?
no,
Your arms
just
are
this.
definitely affected.
Because I use my legs all every day.
Right.
I assume. So my knee is just tilted this way a little bit.
So your knees are a bit
So
tilted.
when I get to like my 20s, I start hurting a little bit when I walk a lot.
Yeah.
Then I didn't use my crutch until I'm like late 30s.
Okay.
I was like, yeah, I have to. I'm giving up. I have to use.
You have
something.
to use the
Because
crutch.
one time I had a gig in Singapore, and my first time there, I was killing in the scene, doing guest set 5 minutes here and there, but the third or fourth night, because of all the walking, man, my knee just hurt like hell.
Yeah.
I couldn't get out, so I was like, all right, I give up.
Yeah.
So that's. But on the other hand, it helps my comedy.
yeah. I mean, you definitely got straight away a niche when you go on stage. People say, "Hey, this guy, his arms are twisted. It's kind of strange. This guy's obviously got some disability." And then boom, you can go in there with your first joke made in China.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
and
I
you got them.
I didn't want to give that up, but.
I haven't given the setup away. I've given the
Okay.
punchline away all day, but that's okay. I haven't given the setup, so half a joke.
So
Watch his YouTube video, then you'll see him.
Steve Lee, my name is Steve Lee. By
Steve
the way.
Lee.
Yeah. So it's interesting. You know, stand-up comedy is about making fun of anybody's what do you call it? The unfortunate part of people's life.
Yeah, making fun of yourself.
Yeah,
and
myself,
your own problems.
and the weirdness of the world.
Yeah.
And it really helps. It just my stuff just pops out right away.
Yeah. Well, for someone like me, able-bodied, it's a bit of an eye-opener. When I called you here, I thought, hang on, God, how does he get here from the station? Because there's stairs and escalators, they must really slow you down.
Yes, I would say.
Yeah.
But I live with it.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I'm used to it. But
okay.
You brought it up. Yeah. I guess.
Yeah. Well. People take things for granted when you're able-bodied.
What I hate is really good-looking people who kind of know me, or like they don't really know me well.
Yeah, luckily, I'm not really good-looking. I'm not really good-looking, so I'm okay here.
Especially I live in Los Angeles.
Yeah, there's lots of good-looking people there.
Yep. Those actresses, they complain in front of me like how much their life sucks.
Oh, yes.
I'm like, come on, man, really? Really? Yeah, I'm killing it with the acting scene out there. I'm killing it with the Asian disabled roles out there. Especially they're like blonde hair, blue eyes, white. You're like, come on, really?
Yeah, they're moaning about their lives, their privileged, easy lives.
Right.
When people ask you, what's your job right now, 2016, what do you tell them? What do you say is your job description?
I think my LinkedIn, I filled in independent entertainment professional. That's what you put in.
And do you make all of your money from some form of entertainment?
Right now, yes. Unfortunately.
Fantastic. You're in the club, my friend. There you go. Boom, boom. There you go. You couldn't see me totally mess up the high five, which I do when I'm hosting open mics as well.
My hand kind of turned in the corner.
No, but I can't do it anyway.
Slap it.
Bang!
No, slap it harder. Come on. There we go.
Okay. I'm quite pretentious, and I like to get really involved in everything about the people I interview. So let's go right back. Your parents are from mainland China, is that right?
Actually, no.
No? Oh, there you go.
Well, it's very complicated. My ancestry is Chinese, and then they immigrated to Indonesia.
Indonesia?
So I'm officially my parents were born, both of them were born in Indonesia.
Indonesia?
Yes.
Ah.
So technically I'm the children or a child of Chinese Indonesian parents.
Yeah, there you go.
Yep.
You grew up in Hong Kong?
Hong Kong, yes. They actually what happened in the 50s.
Yeah.
The Cold War
Yep.
thing. So if you're ethnic Chinese and you're somewhat leaning to the left,
Yeah.
which is normal
Yes.
back in the days,
Yeah.
you would want to go back to China. I mean, you're ethnic Chinese, because of all the discrimination they face in Indonesia
Yes.
and all that,
Yes.
and also the anti-corruption mindset.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because back in the days we believe in communism.
They really cracked down on
Yeah.
it in Indonesia in the 50s.
So they went back to. My grandfather moved the whole family back to China.
To China.
Yes,
Okay.
moved everything. Think about it. Everything.
Everything. Yeah.
Back to China
Wow.
and started a new
There we
life.
go again. People complaining about how difficult their lives are. Your grandfather moved the whole family
Yep.
from Indonesia
Yep.
to escape persecution. Moved to China.
Yeah, I mean, well, okay,
Amazing.
I wouldn't say escape prosecution. It really an idealistic kind of thing.
Yeah. Okay.
Like, it's almost like if you're Jewish, you live in whatever other countries, and then all of a
Israel
sudden,
is the homeland.
yeah, and then
Okay.
you move all your family
Yeah,
back
okay,
to Israel,
okay,
kind of
okay.
thing. And then my mom, her sister, my aunts, they were also very idealistic.
Mm.
They were in high school, so they moved to China just of that, out of that fantasy of, hey, let's build a new China under communism.
Yeah, of course, this is 1950s,
Yes.
just beginning. This is the
Either there's
the
no
setting up of the
exactly.
People's Republic of China. This is
Yeah.
the end of the Chinese Civil War.
Yeah, it's kind of like when Obama first got elected, and people got really excited about,
Yeah.
wow, it's a new regime.
Yeah.
Everything is gonna be
This
great,
regime's going to be for us.
right?
This is,
Yeah,
this is
exactly.
our time. Yeah.
And then you move your whole family back
Yeah.
too,
So they're all in China.
or just in case if Donald Trump wins, and then if you're a neo-Nazi, just
That's right. Hey, go to Donald Trump land. We're Nazis. Gosh. So they're in China, and then they must have moved. Your parents must have moved to Hong Kong because that's where you grew up.
Yes, and then when they, in the 70s, they figure out, things didn't really go that well by then. My father, so it was, have you heard of the term Cultural Revolution?
Oh yeah, 1970s.
So
Cultural Revolution.
Cultural Revolution is kind of like what's going on in North Korea
Yes.
right now. And then after it ended, the country started becoming more relaxed
Yes.
in
More
the
relaxed.
late 70s
Yeah.
or mid 70s. So they allow people who are from other Chinese who are from other countries.
Mm.
So my dad would fit that category.
Right. That's
They
right.
allow people like them to, if you guys want to go ahead. We get it. We get it. We get it. Some of my uncles and other people who moved back to China like that starting to move away.
Yeah.
So my dad was one of those group who moved away legally to Hong Kong. And unfortunately, during the Cold War, if you swam across illegally, then the British would give you like a Hong Kong ID card right away, right?
Yes.
But if you move to Hong Kong legally,
Oh, yes.
they would think you might be a spy.
Of course. Yeah.
So my dad and my mom had to stay in a refugee camp for a
God.
year or two at least. That's when they had me.
Yeah. God, I
And-
hate the British. Eh?
No.
Damn
Well,
the-
okay, no.
That makes sense.
I don't want to go that direction. It's a very complicated issue.
Yeah.
I'm not the kind of people who blame white people for everything.
Okay. But white people. I am white. We are pretty bad white people.
So no. I'm not actually.
Okay.
I don't believe in the total blame of white people on everything. thing.
Okay.
So I'm very neutral on this.
Yeah.
Because you got to look at all the history.
Well, you can see it. It's the Cold War. You've got Chinese nationals being sent over apparently to Hong Kong.
Okay, Hong Kong was a
spies.
very interesting
Yeah,
place at
yeah,
the time.
yeah.
It was actually one of the few places one of the freest places in Asia. To be fair,
Yeah.
and the most economically booming
Yes.
part of Asia at the time.
I grew up in London in the 1970s, and all of our toys seem to be made in Hong Kong.
Oh,
It was
really?
Such a big
Wow.
manufacturing.
Hong Kong was China
Yeah.
today.
Yeah, yeah.
So anyway, so long story short, my parents were staying in refugee camp, and that's when I was born.
Oh.
So it's really interesting. The geneticist lately asked me, was your parents, would they have any kind of damage, or, like, what do you call that? The birth is not.
Yeah,
The pregnancy wasn't going
normal.
right.
Yeah, wasn't normal.
And I told the doctor, well, yeah, my parents were in a refugee camp. I don't know. Yeah, you figure that out.
Yeah. Can't have been that well looked after. Yeah.
But I was born in a hospital, like not right at at the camp.
Mm.
But anyway.
So you born what? 1974, 75,
77.
77. Okay, you're
Late
pretty young. Still pretty young. Yeah.
Depends on how it's all relative, right?
Okay.
Young or old.
1977. You're born in Hong Kong. So you grew up in Hong Kong as a local Hong Kong kid.
Yes.
Okay.
Go ahead.
And do you speak Cantonese?
Yes, perfect Cantonese.
Ah.
That's my mother tongue, actually.
Yeah, yeah. And was that your parents' mother tongue, or did they?
No, my mom's mother tongue is actually her family dialect, which is Hakka.
Okay.
客家话. It's like Hakka. I don't know the English
I don't know
name.
either.
Okay, so would be her mother tongue.
Okay.
And she didn't teach me any of that. I just listened to her conversation with her sister on the phone, and I learned it through that.
Brilliant.
I learned about the basics. Like if they talk shit about me, I would know.
You know. Do you ever do shows in Cantonese?
Yeah, I tried. I'm not very good at it.
Is it different? Is it very different? Do the tones make a difference?
Yeah, you also. This is a great question.
Because I just want to jump in. So I'd imagine if you're trying to be sarcastic in English, we use our tones to show that we're being sarcastic. Yeah. I guess if you use your tones to show you're sarcastic, it might be changing the meaning
at the end of the day, all humorous acts is about reference.
Yeah.
So cultural reference is extremely important.
Right.
So it's not really too much about the language. I speak the language great, but I don't get the reference because I'm not being listening to the local stuff.
Okay.
So that's why I bombed. When I do Cantonese.
You bombed? No, surely not.
When I do Cantonese thing, so that's the cultural. That's part of stand-up comedy. You don't get the culture. You have less reference to use. Then that means you have less way to make people laugh. Yeah.
And what was your childhood like? Because we've mentioned that you're physically disabled.
Yes.
Is that the correct term? Because I don't want to be rude.
By the way, I personally don't care.
You don't care. Excellent. Because when I was a kid, we said physically disabled, and now I notice people saying things like physically challenged. And I don't know what.
First of all, I don't care.
Only
because English is not my first language, so it doesn't get get their
exactly swear words in a
right?
foreign language are just noises.
Exactly. I get there.
Nientod. That's fuck in Indonesian. Nientod.
Really?
Did you know that? Bahasa. Yeah, Bahasa Indonesia. Nientod.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So Indonesian listeners, I'm sorry about that. Nientod.
All right. So keep going.
So you're physically handicapped and physically disabled. And you're in Hong Kong in the 70s. Did you have to go to did you go to a regular school, or did they put you in a special school? Or?
That's also a very interesting question. My mom wanted to put me in a normal school, which she tried for the kindergarten part.
Yeah.
So all the politically incorrect terms.
Because mentally, you're perfectly normal.
Actually,
you're above us.
No. Actually, you brought that up. Politically incorrect terms. Oh. Yeah, it did feel hurtful at the time when people started using those terms on me.
Yes.
In Cantonese.
Yes.
Yeah, you kind of reminded me. Yeah, they were hurtful. So I think I went home, asked my mom, and she told me to tell those kids to use the right term on me.
Right.
And I did correct some of the terms that the kids use on me. So I think it's a pretty interesting thing since you brought this up.
Well, kids are pretty nasty without even thinking about it. The kids
kindergarten was a little bit okay.
Yeah.
But I already remember I had difficulty walking.
Yeah.
Because my leg used to tilt it this way. Like imagine this. How would
This
you?
is going to work really well on an audio podcast. So your leg tilted.
Okay, just
the
normal leg,
outwards.
right? Yeah, outward.
Yeah.
So I'm walking on the side on my foot.
Yeah.
And when I was wearing a brace, back the Victorian era concept,
Yes.
you gotta correct
The big leg brace to straighten your leg.
You gotta correct your.
I remember those. I grew up in the
yeah.
70s. I saw kids wearing those.
So sometimes the braces will break
Yeah.
because because it's not the correct angle.
Yeah.
So your muscle will pull the metal.
Pull the
The
brace
metal
apart,
will,
yeah.
will break apart. So sometimes when that happens, I could barely walk, and the kids would be running around. Kids.
Yeah.
They might knock me down or something like that.
Yeah.
So after kindergarten, I remember there was a period I was transitioning to the primary school. So in Hong Kong, all the primary school that my family could afford at the time was public primary school.
Yeah. The free
And
one.
There were no primary school wanted to accept me because
Nothing.
they think we could sue them if let's say a kid knocked me down.
Oh yeah, if something happened,
If
and
something
you were knocked
happened,
down
yeah.
because they haven't got fantastic facilities for
Yeah,
someone like you,
exactly.
where you might get sued. Oh dear.
Yep.
That's
So
tough.
I remember there was a few months I stayed in China back in my grandfather's place.
Yeah.
Because both my parents had to work. And then after that, my mom took me to a social
Social services.
And finally, they told me, I should go to a school for the disabled kids.
Yes. Okay.
So that's my mom didn't really want it,
Right.
but she had no choice.
Yeah.
And then she picked the best. She makes sure she picked the
Yeah.
best ones.
Yeah.
So I went to the school. Is called John F. Kennedy Center.
Oh
By
right,
the
the
way,
president.
yeah, sounds like I'm gonna be an astronaut. Which is near. What do you call it? Like, there's a international school called John F. Kennedy something. Is in what do you call that? Like.
Hong Kong, Kowloon, New
Hong
Territories.
Kong Island.
Hong Kong Island.
It's called Quarry Bay or something.
Hong
No,
Kong.
not Quarry Bay. No. The University of Hong Kong.
Yeah.
So you go on that
Yeah.
road, and then you keep going deeper and
Okay.
deeper until you don't see much building,
Yeah.
and you see the seashore.
Okay.
By the way, it's beautiful. It looks
Oh,
like a
lovely.
retirement town. It is a retirement town. So that's where my school is at.
Yeah. And did you stay there for like primary and secondary?
Yes.
All the way through.
Yes. All the way through. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was my life. I mean, that's okay. That was the first part of my life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, any major things at school that we should touch on, or is it straight down to after school when you finish?
Think of a school for disabled kids with only 140 kids, which class has only about 10 to 12 kids.
Yeah.
I am so
No,
sorry.
I love this. I love this live stuff. I love it. I love it live.
I
Don't
am
worry
so
about it.
sorry.
Go and answer away.
No.
I should lock this door and stop my kids jumping in. They'll jump in. Daddy, Daddy, Queen.
No, that would be cute.
That might
That's good. Anyway, so so that was the first part of my life. Small classes.
Yeah.
Everybody knows everybody.
Was it good? Did you enjoy it? Was it happy?
It's
childhood?
exactly like a small town life.
Yeah.
I didn't even know what a small town life is, but
That's all you knew.
Was.
This little world was your
yeah,
whole world.
but that was my small town life. I grew up in that kind of
yeah.
environment.
And you were there until you were about 16 years old?
Yes.
And then when you're 17, you went to America?
Yeah. Wait, did you hire a private investigator?
This is all on the internet, my friend.
Oh my god. Okay, I need to
10
start
minutes
hiding
on
some of my
stuff.
stuff. Okay, anyway, so yes, so
So that's
in
a
the
big-
school, so they in the 90s,
Yeah.
they start having concept about integrating the kids who could integrate to like a normal
The regular school, yeah.
yeah. So they start sending some of the smart, let's say, quote, smarter kids.
Okay.
Or kids who are more capable
Yeah.
physically
Yeah.
to other schools.
Yeah.
And some of the teachers found an exchange student program
Oh.
to send some of the kids to America. And my parents have always been planning to send me to America anyway.
Okay.
Because that's kind of like a tradition for a lot of overseas Chinese who grow up in other part of Asia.
Yeah.
So a lot of my cousins went to other countries, to study, England, Australia, America. So
You went to that program?
Yeah, I went through the program and I had no idea what I was facing.
Did you go just by yourself? No.
Yeah, but I was a kid.
Yeah, exactly.
My hobby is called sleeping. That's all I knew.
Wow.
And I was the kind of kid who knew nothing.
Gosh.
Nothing. Think about a small town kid.
Yeah. Who's just
then,
in a small town. Hong Kong's a small town, and you were in a small town in Hong Kong.
Exactly.
And then suddenly you're on your own in America.
Yep.
Wow.
Yep. And you know where I ended up? I ended up in Kansas.
Oh.
Well, it's not a farmland to be exact. It's more like a suburb of Kansas City.
Yeah.
But it's still, to me, that's like nobody is around. People don't walk on the street. That's so strange for me,
Yeah.
Everybody drives. It's not too many people. And, by the way, I saw white people cleaning floors.
Ah.
That was like, oh, wow, white people do that stuff?
Of course, yeah, because in Asia, in Hong Kong in the 70s, white people didn't do any of that
And
stuff.
still today.
Still today they don't, yeah.
Yeah, it's like, that's called of white privilege. And
Unless you go to somewhere like, London, where I grew up, you see white people cleaning, doing everything.
So that was a surprise. And there's fields and fields of corn farms.
Wow.
People drive everywhere. I remember my host father has a 1980s or 70s Buick. An old good old American car.
Yeah.
A good old American car.
So when you're 17, 18, you're staying with a family in America.
Yes.
And in Kansas and going to school.
Yep.
Wow.
Yep.
And how long
Man.
did you... And so you did that for how many years?
The program was 10 months.
10 months. So 10 months there.
10 months was a lot.
And then back to Hong Kong?
Yes, for a little
Wow,
bit.
10 months. That's cool. Quite an opportunity.
You know what? I'm 39. I still can't imagine if I went through that program again. It's like, wow. Imagine a kid who knows nothing.
Yeah.
Who knew nothing. Nothing.
Nothing.
Nothing. Seriously, nothing.
On your own, basically.
And I was very fortunate. My host family was great.
Was your English at a high level at that point?
Hell no.
I see. I must have been weird.
Man. Let me tell you a story. Can I go?
Yeah, go
quick
for
story?
it. Long story's fine.
So it was my first or second week. That's when I knew I liked America because at the time in Hong Kong, for some reason when people ask me where you come from, all that stuff, I always have to. For some reason, I have to tell people my identity, that I went to school for the disabled kids, that I'm a disabled person. And then my teacher in my my American high school, she was like, "So."
Yeah.
Man, what does that word "so"? That changes my life. I was like, okay, what? People don't care about that? Wow, I have to find a new identity. I was in kind of like a crisis mode. Like I was like looking for a new identity. Like, wow, who am I?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you come up with a new identity? Did you fit in somehow?
Not until I really started stand-up comedy. It's really interesting.
Okay, so how did you get into stand-up comedy? Is that years ahead?
Okay, so fast forward.
Yeah.
Fast forward the tape. I went to school in the U.S., college in the U.S.
So you did the 10 months, you went back to Hong Kong,
and
then you went to college.
Went to college
in the US.
My background is animation.
Oh!
Yep. So I was
I was
actually
very much
So
into
that's
animation.
why I was looking at your drawings on your
I
wall
love
right
animation.
now.
I made.
Do
I
you
made,
have your pictures of your room a little bit
Sorry?
on the website? You have pictures of your room a
I
little
should
bit.
put one, shouldn't I?
Yeah, this is great. Like you have all the animation, drawings, cartoons all in your room.
I had a cine camera in 1980, and I used to animate my Star Wars figures
Wow.
and make 4-minute Super 8 millimeter
That's
movies.
great. That is. You should put that up. You should put that up on your website.
So you animation.
That
College.
was the compromise I had with my dad.
Yeah.
Because I originally either studied film or study fine arts.
Yes.
Because I have a great teacher back in Hong Kong, School for the Disabled.
Mm.
Is that no? That's not an official name. I kept saying that word. I don't know. Anyway, so I had a great art teacher.
Yeah.
He was He was my first inspirational person.
Yeah.
In my life. I'm sorry, my parents. You're not. Maybe a little bit, but anyway. So I love arts.
Yeah.
And I feel like I don't have to sit in a cubicle to do my work all day. I can just do my drawings or things like that.
Yeah.
Things that are so-called
So
fun.
You love drawing like me.
I love it.
Drawing and
I used to. Well, I would say I used to like it.
Yeah.
And then so I went to an art school,
Yeah.
and another reason that was I couldn't do math. The only way I could graduate from college is to go through an art program.
Okay. Yeah.
So I failed a lot of classes at the beginning.
Yeah.
Back in college, I was still looking for my new identity. Blah 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 blah. Pissed my parents off. At the time they weren't poor anymore. They were more like a middle class Hong Kong family.
Yeah.
So they did help me a lot,
Yeah.
putting me through college, and I kept wasting their money, failing classes, and so finally I grow a little older.
Yeah.
I realized, all right, I need to get this.
How old are you now?
Degree.
20,
22,
22, 3, yeah.
No, actually, a little bit. Yeah, 22, 3.
Yeah.
And then, all right, I'm serious.
Mm.
So I went to an art school in San Francisco.
Yeah.
So that's my first connection to San Francisco. So
Yeah.
San Francisco has become my second hometown.
Yeah.
I studied there for many years. When graduated,
Yeah.
didn't really like to work as an animator, because when you're working as an animator nowadays, is sitting in front of a computer for 18, 20
Yes.
hours a day.
Yeah.
Literally, like you don't get much sleep.
Wow.
And you just sit in front of a computer. I think it's too much for me.
Yeah.
It's totally not my thing.
Yeah.
I hated it.
Okay.
I think I like to move around kind of guy.
So you did try working as an animator.
I did, and also do some graphic design, side, freelance
Yeah.
stuff here and there. Wasn't very good at it. I mean, I get by,
Yeah.
but not very good at it. And so I graduated.
Yeah.
Went back to Hong Kong to work because
Yeah.
I was on my student visa.
Yeah.
In case Donald Trump people were like after my ass. For that. So I went back to Hong Kong. Didn't extend my, didn't overstate my
Yeah.
status. So I stayed in Hong Kong for about 6-7 years,
Yeah.
and I worked
Yeah.
and worked on and off, and I hated all my jobs.
Through your 20s, you were working in Hong
Yeah.
Kong.
Late 20s,
Mm.
early 30s, hated it. Hated Hong Kong.
Wow.
Hated the place. Wasn't very successful at all. Stayed with my family,
Mm.
and I gradually
Mm.
I turned from animation to photography, and I kind of found my first love finally.
Yeah.
About something that I'm really passionate about.
Yeah.
So for 4 or 5 years, I was trying to be about 4 years. I was trying to be a photographer.
Did you set up your own business, freelance?
I took classes.
Mm.
Nothing official.
Mm.
a lot of them at the beginning are scammers. They claim they would teach you this and that.
Yeah.
And they had a master class, and the master only show up once. Man, that was like the first time you learn what the society is like.
Yeah, some people just want to make money,
sometimes
take the money and run.
Sometimes you gotta be smart.
Yeah.
And then and it's great. It's a great learning curve for me in life, and because of my disability, I realize it's difficult because as a photographer you have to carry a lot of equipment like this.
Yes.
Like a big battery
big
like this
box
size.
of stuff, tripods and
as
cameras
heavy
and
as
lenses.
Half of Shaquille O'Neal, right? So that the time I realized I had a good chance was a model I worked with. Her boyfriend just finished a catwalk from Milan.
Yeah.
For Kevin Klein.
Oh wow.
Wow, yeah, he has an amazing goddess body, right?
Yeah.
So for photographers, models, we need a portfolio.
Yes.
So we use our portfolio in the future to showcase our work to our future clients.
Yes.
And I was like, that's my chance, right?
Yeah.
And what I used to do was I used to have other people who also like to do photography, like friends.
Mm.
And we would do a group photo shoot.
Mm.
So they would help me out.
Yeah.
I would get all these, good-looking models.
Yeah.
Because out of the group, I would be one of those pretty talented ones. Unfortunately, fortunately, the model told me no.
Okay.
It's only you. I don't
Mm.
want a few, bunch of amateur photographers taking pictures of me at the same time.
Yeah,
It's weird.
Just you.
Just me.
Okay.
Man, that was the time I realized I couldn't do it by myself. And
Because
of my disability.
All the equipment.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh man, that is awful.
So I got into a deep depression
Yeah.
for a year or two.
It's terrible,
I
man.
couldn't.
I mean, you finally found something you like doing.
Yep.
You're good at it.
Yep.
And you can't do it by yourself because you can't carry all the equipment
Yep.
around.
And it has nothing to do with me, right?
Yeah.
Yep. I just can't do it. It's not about
man.
me being lazy, maybe a little bit, but yeah.
Yeah.
But you gotta learn because in my era, the 80s and 90s,
Mm.
all those people are telling people, I just go believe in what you want, right?
Yeah.
You can do it.
Yeah, believe it, you can do it.
Yeah.
Woo, go for it, man.
But in life, in real life,
There are
it
limits.
doesn't
There's
work.
Limits.
Doesn't work like that. So before I move on to the second part of my life, so let me show you my photographs.
Oh, this will work really well on a podcast.
So okay, I'll show you.
Okay.
So you put some of these on if you want.
Yeah, I can put these online with the podcast.
So
in the
just
notes.
tell me
Oh,
what
wow.
do you think.
You did these? My goodness.
Yeah. So
Okay.
let's say it's pretty okay.
Wow. This looks like a
This
painting.
is drawings. Yeah, drawings back in schools.
Yeah.
It's like class drawings.
Wow.
It's class drawings. Live drawing. That one.
Yeah, this guy's he's a proper
I'm pretty
artist.
good.
You're very good,
So
my friend.
That's one of those studio shoots.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Steve Lee is flicking through his phone. There's some amazing paintings and photos. So, wow. Yeah, you've got talent, man.
Okay, so I'm pretty okay, right?
Yeah.
That's why I got kind of disappointed because I saw something in there.
Yeah, you could have,
Right.
if you could have carried the bags around. Gosh.
So that was the first part of. I would say that's how I would consider the first part of my life.
Yeah.
Is going through all that stuff.
All that stuff.
Yep, and learn, right?
Yeah.
Learn about life.
Yeah.
So yeah, you have other questions?
Well, yeah. What's the second part? So you're about 30-ish, early 30s.
Yes,
Yeah.
mid-30s, and because my grandma, she's a U.S. citizen, so
Yeah.
they could apply for. My parents applied for a green card
Yeah.
when I went to college, but I was over 21, so I couldn't get it. I had to go wait on the line.
Okay, because if your parents have a green card, you can come along as a dependent, like a child, if you're under 21. Okay, I get it.
So just wanted the Donald Trump people to know. I did everything legally. So finally, interestingly, that's how life works sometimes, that you went through all that stuff.
Because you're trying to become a photographer in Hong Kong.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I went through all that stuff, and then I got a letter from the U.S. Embassy.
Yeah.
Oh, it's your turn. You got the interview for the green card thing.
Okay.
So wow, that was kind of something that kind of saved my life.
Yeah.
I'm like, wow, Jesus, I get to have a chance to leave this shithole.
Yeah. This is my next question. The big breaks. We're right
there
on
you
time.
go. Yeah.
The big things, the big turning points in your life.
So I went to the interview. The interview went great.
Woo!
And then I got a letter saying they give me 6 months to go to the U.S. and apply. Get all that procedure started. The immigration procedure.
It's strange, because it kind of parallels so many things I've heard from other people, like me, for example. The only reason I became a professional full-time clown, because there's no one else in my all my relatives are basically teachers. Yeah, they work for the government. They're solid teaching jobs, liberal arts space, but teachers. And then I was in Singapore, and Singapore said, "Okay, we're going to give you a PR, permanent residency status," and that meant I could set up my own business. As I could employ myself as a clown in Singapore, and that's how I became a full-time entertainer. Just because of the permit. If I hadn't got the permit, I would have gone back to England at about the age of 25, and I'd be doing something completely different with my life.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. So it's amazing what. Yep. Immigration, not so bad after all.
Take that, Donald Trump.
Yeah. Gave me new opportunities.
Yes. Well, I mean, not just that. It's just almost like I was in a deep state of depression.
Yeah.
And it really lifted me up.
I bet it did.
Yeah. And then I went back to San Francisco, and it was, I think, 2009.
Yeah, this is getting
And do you remember what happened in 2008?
Is that the economic crisis?
Yes,
crash?
sir.
Oh.
Yeah, I went back in the roughest time in the
was
world.
It pretty hard to get a job?
Yeah. Well, talking about opportunity, people. I was sitting at my little tiny room.
Yeah.
Literally, slightly bigger than this.
San Francisco.
Yes.
Okay.
But by the way, I went.
My room is pretty tiny, but this is my room.
Can we describe how big?
Well, if I stretch out, I can almost reach across my room.
Okay, so about by the way, in Hong Kong standard, this is big. So it's about what? How many meters?
Well, I'd say it's about
2 meters wide.
And about 3 meters. 2 by 3 meters.
2 by 3.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks about that.
That's my office.
Yeah. So my tiny room in San Francisco about 2 by 4. A little bit bigger. Sharing my bathroom.
Yeah.
I was living in my college landlord's place.
Yeah.
Talk about, coincidence.
Wow.
Back to my college landlord.
Oh wow!
I know, right?
Was that by chance?
Well, I mean, was
your only contact?
I kept looking for a different apartment, and I couldn't find anything that I could afford, or anything that's nice enough.
Yeah.
So I was like, why not? Well, that's my landlord was. Well, I mean, they are my aunt's play aunts.
Okay.
Play aunts, or like one of her best friends.
Okay. Yeah.
Back in the my aunts from China.
Okay.
So back in China, that was their
Family
good friends.
Yeah.
So
you're staying.
Black people call it play aunts.
Okay.
It's like she's like my aunts.
Yeah.
But she's not. We are not related.
Yeah.
Like,
she's
my
not in
mom,
every way.
Great friend.
Yeah. Great friend of your mum.
Yes. So she and her. She has a house. And then I just stay downstairs.
Great. So you got somewhere to stay.
It's a basement, by the way. Well, San Francisco is called basement. It's on the ground floor,
Yeah.
but there's no window. Like, there's one window,
Okay.
but the window is facing the garage door.
Okay.
Yeah, it's pretty awful. Staying in that little room.
How are you earning? Are you earning money?
No,
You
I had some saving,
That's
and
all.
my family helped me out at the time.
Yeah.
They also want me to get the, like, just get the fuck out of Hong Kong.
Yeah.
So they did help me out. That would be really thankful.
Okay.
That's really thankful.
Yeah.
So,
So-
and then I didn't want to sit in my apartment getting sad again.
Yes.
So I had some money to take classes. I took Spanish class,
Oh.
and I could say "Hola, ¿cómo está?" I could say 0, 1, 8, 2, 3, 4. That's it. I'm not really good at it. And then at the time, I really like. There's a show called Whose Line Is It Anyway?
I know that show. Yeah.
Yep, I love it. Also, The Daily Show, Jon
Okay.
Stewart.
Yeah.
There's a Asian comedian called Russell Peter.
Yeah.
It's huge in my community.
Yeah.
So I was like, maybe I want to do something like that. This kind of seems kind of fun.
So you're in San Francisco.
Want to cheer myself up a little bit.
You're in San Francisco. You're aware of Whose Lines Anyway. You're aware of the Daily Show on TV. You're aware of Russell Peters.
I watch all those in Hong Kong.
Yeah.
Don't ask me how I got those shows, but so I was like, why not, right?
Yeah.
Why not? Do something that cheer me up, right?
Because there was no comedy. When did the comedy club start in Hong Kong? Just beginning about 2008. Yeah, but when you were there wouldn't have been a comedy club.
Nothing like this.
in
Like,
Hong
this
Kong.
would be weird. It would
Yeah.
be weird.
Yeah.
So I went online, and I found there's a free stand-up comedy class.
Ah.
So I was like, oh, it's free.
Yeah.
Let's go check it out. So I liked it. Then I paid for the 4 classes,
Yeah.
the remaining classes.
I thought it was free. Oh, the first one's free.
Well, you know what? Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's how that
Well,
shit
yeah,
works,
someone's
right?
gonna make some money to pay for the rest.
But it
for the
makes
room.
sense. People get scared.
Yeah.
Like, what's going on? Like, what is, you don't need to teach me laugh, but I think it's a good strategy.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I did it. My first class, we got up and talked for 30 seconds to a minute.
Mm-hmm.
Man, I was sweating. I was shaking. I almost passed out. I absolutely did not remember what I did
Yeah.
up there. But by the 4th class, I started cracking people up.
Ah.
So I was like, all right, this is kind of cool. So I took
Yeah.
the 2nd class, I got better. 3rd class, I got better.
Yeah.
And sooner or later, start doing their the school's open mic. It's called the Purple Onion.
Okay.
So there's an establishment called the Purple Onion.
I'll put all these in the notes for the podcast.
If you go online, search Purple Onion.
Yeah.
Right now, it's the school's so-called club.
Yeah.
But they're really using the name because it used to be a legendary comedy club back in the 60s.
Ah.
Robin Williams
Okay.
and who's the movie director who used to be a comedian
Oh, that's little
who
guy.
married his stepdaughter.
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean. I'm very bad with names. It's
The guy
Woody
with
Allen.
glasses.
Woody Allen.
Woody Allen.
Yeah.
Woody. All those great comics.
Purple
Lenny
Onion.
Bruce.
Purple Onion.
All those, Purple Onions, where all those great
Yeah.
started. But as live comedy died down, it was basically just an Italian restaurant in a basement. And then after the restaurant, the owner decided to close down. They basically just took the name.
I know, man.
And then changed completely to a different bar right now. That's kind of sad. And then you get only open micers doing comedy. But that was the first place I did comedy in front of the public. Basically, it's, other students, friends, they invited. But that's where I started.
And has it just built from there, going to more of
My first time got up on stage in public, I remember, it was Valentine's Day.
Yeah.
Talk about dildos. Talk about sex.
Yeah.
and I kill.
Great.
People couldn't expect a disabled guy, talking about fingering somebody, right? That's what you do when you're an open micer.
Yeah.
And man, it was fun. And then the next day, I bombed so bad.
It's so true, isn't it?
Exactly.
Everybody does well the first time and they suck the second time.
Exactly, because you got cocky.
Yeah.
Exactly. You start talking all over the place. And you need to write down your material, all that stuff.
You thought you got
it.
It
Was
easy, I got it, yeah.
It was the worst feeling in the world, my friend.
Yeah?
Yep.
And what made you carry on after the worst feeling in the world?
I think I start liking it because I feel like it's... In art, you take a picture spanning all those hours, take one good photo, right?
Yeah.
Or you spend a few days or even a few months to do a painting.
Yeah.
And then and then bag to put your work in a gallery.
Yeah.
Right? And then nobody give a fuck.
Yeah.
And then probably 50 years later, in some guy's basement, they use your painting as as something, let the dog shit on it or something, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then somebody saw it. Oh my God, this is a masterpiece! And then you'll be dead, die from cancer 30 years late, before. And then people start finding out your name. Oh no!
So are you saying that you just there are a few moments, there's lots and lots of periods of disappointment and lack of success, and there's a few moments, just enough moments of good things to keep you going?
Yeah, I mean, basically, stand-up comedy is one of the most direct arts.
Yeah.
That you can get in the world.
Yeah.
And it's the easiest. You don't need to film anything. You need to prepare your material.
Oh yeah, I mean, it's not the easiest to be good at it, but it's in a way you don't need any special equipment.
Yes.
You can just stand in front of the mic and you start to talk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why also there are a lot of kids who think they are funny. But, that's another issue.
Yeah. So, you describe yourself as an entertainer, a comedian.
Yeah.
So, are you making enough money to survive?
Unfortunately, no. I need to get a lot of side jobs. Because I moved to Los Angeles now. Los Angeles is an acting town.
Yeah.
Or a writer's town.
Mm.
So basically, stand-up turnout is like a side gig.
Yeah.
You can't do it. So if you really want to do it full time, you got to go on the road.
Yeah.
I'm not a headliner yet.
Yeah.
I'm looking to be a headliner within the next year or two.
Yeah.
So that's when you go on the road.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I'm not. I would say 1 to 2 years too soon. I'm a feature.
Yeah.
Or I'm looking to be a feature, which you go to clubs and do 30 minutes, and they would kind of partially pay you, fly you out. But you should have used some. You lose some money.
You're at the stage right now where you're a feature. You can do 30 minutes.
Yeah.
You get some money, but definitely not enough money to live on. So you've got jobs on the side to keep you going.
Yeah. That's how you move your ladder up.
Yeah.
To become a headliner, because when you feature.
That's how you do it in the US. In Hong Kong, there's still no way to become that, to make money. There's no one making money full time. Jamie Gong runs a club, and that's how he manages to do it full time. People like Vivek, Vivek Mababani, do you know him? He makes about 50% of his money from something to do with stand-up comedy, and 50% from web designs and other work.
Yeah.
But so in the US, there is a ladder that you can go up. There is a possibility.
Well, I mean, right now it's still also very difficult because people don't go to see live performance anymore. That is not just stand-up comedy. That is actually live performance nightmare right now.
Really, right now?
To classical musicians, dancers.
I would have thought that
theater people.
I would have thought always that there's something about a live performance that's so good, because you can see so much on the internet, so much on DVDs, on television, But I would have thought, still, seeing something live, there's something that, because you're there and it's happening right in front of your eyes, and it can change. Right in front of
Okay,
you.
so you're talking about those hardcore people.
Uh,
The hardcore people are about, I would say, 30 to 40%.
but they will still
And
like
they're
live
still
stuff.
around. Yeah, that's why, comedy clubs do exist.
But a lot of people.
But when you imagine you cut out the rest of the, 50%, that's a huge cut.
Yeah, and if you imagine what it was like before there was so much on the internet.
No, even for me nowadays, I don't even watch TV much.
Yeah.
Other than local news,
Yeah.
I turn on my
So why
YouTube.
why isn't live?
I turn on my
entertainment-
YouTube. Let's say, imagine I turn on my YouTube, watch whatever I want to watch,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Or whatever Google's algorithms want to tell me to watch, right?
Ah,
So it does cut into the time that people want to go out and get entertainment.
yeah.
It does hurt a lot of live performers.
Ah, that's interesting.
Yep.
Okay, let's talk about part 2 of the podcast from me. Your style of comedy. So you can do 30 minutes.
Oh, shit, am I leaning on your work?
No,
Okay,
that's just
like I'm leaning on like a $50,000 painting.
No, you're not. No. You're leaning on a list of stars, which my daughters record,
Oh, I'm
so they get
sorry.
prizes for their homework. So don't
Okay.
worry about that. That's fine.
Okay.
You can lean on that as much as you like.
Okay. Anyway, go ahead.
Let's talk about sort of part 2 of this
Yes.
podcast. Your style of comedy. What is your? Do you have a style? Have you found a persona?
So my persona is obviously Asian and disabled.
Yeah.
That's
right.
one reason why a lot of veteran entertainers told me to move to LA, because showbiz is about being unique. You don't want to have somebody who's always like you.
Yeah.
You can find a replacement.
Yeah.
I'm Asian and disabled.
You've got a hook.
Where the?
That's right.
Can I curse on your this?
Of course
or
you
no?
can.
Where the fuck do you find another guy like me? So I have a joke, like, if I find out there's another one, I would have killed that motherfucker.
Yeah. Okay. So that's your thing. You're Asian and disabled.
Yeah.
That can be your way in, your persona, your niche. Can we go through one of your, not your jokes, but how do you approach a set? Say you're doing a 30 minutes.
Let's say I would have to break the ice, telling people you can laugh at me.
Yeah.
Because nowadays people get so PC, they're so afraid to laugh at anything.
Yes.
So I literally have to waste my time to tell people it's okay. You can laugh at all my
Well,
cripple
yeah,
jokes.
sure. I mean,
You can
I
laugh at
understand
all my
that.
cripple jokes. That's
Yeah.
fine. You treat me equally.
Yeah.
That's my point. You please treat me equally. So
Laugh
that
at you
means-
and insult you, just like I
Exactly.
laugh and insult any other person.
Can I steal that line? Can I steal your line?
Yes, you can.
So that's how I have to start nowadays.
To let them know it's okay to laugh at you.
Yes.
Yeah.
It really helps.
Yeah.
And then I can make any disabled jokes about myself.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then after about 2 to 3, okay, should I break all these down? I want people to enjoy it like more naturally.
Don't give away your secrets, but I mean, people.
Okay, that's not really a secret. It's just like how people look at my act.
Yeah.
I will throw 1 or 2 disabled jokes, and then I will move on to my cancer story.
Oh. Okay.
So that is the story that transformed me to just a disabled guy to an Asian guy.
Okay. Yeah.
So turn out in America, being Asian is a disability.
Okay.
So I get rid of one.
Did you say cancer?
Kansas? Sorry.
Oh, I thought you said.
I have runny nose right now. When I talk,
I was thinking, God, this guy's Asian and he's disabled, and now he's got a cancer story. Oh, Kansas. Okay. I'm a bit deaf, so don't worry. It's pretty me.
No, I wish I had a cancer story and survived. I would be selling millions of books right now. Anyway.
So you do the Kansas stuff.
Yeah.
So you start off with this is stuff that's well scripted.
Yes.
Yeah.
May I have a piece of napkin?
Yes, go ahead.
Or cleaning.
Have a whole.
Yes,
box
because
of
when I
napkins.
talk too much, I will
Don't worry about it.
May
man.
I sneeze? Can we pause a little
I'm
bit?
gonna edit this out. Don't worry. I'll edit this out. We'll edit the sneezes out, my friend.
No, actually, you can keep it in if you want.
Yeah, let's
More natural.
I'll play some more. I'll play some interlude music. Here we go. See, let's play some music. Here we go. Oh boy. Oh, you're blowing your nose too quickly. I can't get my interlude music on.
No, or you can click on my the other video. There's music on it.
Okay, blow your nose now. Yeah. Oh yeah.
All right, I'm done.
Okay.
Oh, this is a big problem I have in interviews. I can't just tell like a live radio show like, all right, hold on, guys, let me blow my nose.
Do you want some of that?
Oh, is that trash?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
So Kansas. So you've got let people know it's okay to laugh at you.
Yes.
A few disability jokes, disabled jokes.
Yes.
I'm sorry.
No. Go ahead.
And then actually it's a recycle box, so it's fairly clean. So don't worry about it.
No, what I mean, I don't want it to roll over my wallet.
We're moving his bags around.
Yeah.
Okay. And then you go for a Kansas story about being in Kansas, I guess. Relating it to being Asian and disabled in Kansas.
Exactly. I get more respect in America. Being a disabled person, they're more nice. They're more nice to me.
More respect than.
Okay, I used the wrong word. People are more nice to me when you're disabled than you're Asian.
Ah, okay. Okay, in America.
Yeah, in America.
Yeah. So they like the fact that you're disabled, but the Asian stuff won't give you any respect.
Exactly. Other than applying for probably programming jobs.
Do you slot in a part in your set where you specifically start talking to the audience and seeing and chatting to them, or is it all set material?
For me, it's material.
Yeah.
Because, well, I mean, unless I'm hosting.
Yeah.
Hosting, you gotta warm people up.
So you do hosting as well?
I don't like it.
Neither do I.
But, it's a challenge for me.
Yeah, it's
a really cool challenge for me because I know, or in the industry we all know, if you host well, you're gonna close well. So when I host well, it gives me a great feeling, and I mean, we all know a good host will set up a great tone for the show.
Yeah.
Yep.
And how do you go? So how do you go for your? Do you have a build up to a closer? Is there something that you like to do?
I have a joke about me being an X-Man because I have genetic mutation.
An X-Man is your closer.
Yeah.
All right, cool. As a comedian, do you have any weaknesses, things you'd like to work on more? I guess maybe hosting.
You know what? Interestingly, I'm different because English is not my first language. I fake my accent pretty okay, right? I guess. I can fake my British accent and talk like this.
It sounds marvelous. It sounds rather marvelous. I say, talk on, my man.
But my English language skill, my English language skill in terms of grammar, the basic grammar and all that. I didn't grow up as a kid speaking English. No. So it really troubled me when I say things. My accent pops out from time to time, especially when I get really tired, or if my bit is really.
You mean your Hong Kong accent? Hong Kong Chinese accent.
My Hong Kong accent will come out a little bit. Also, I'm not saying things correctly in terms of in terms of English.
Yeah.
So that's a thing.
It's a thing that you're aware of.
Yeah, and then it will affect my act.
Yeah.
So I always now when I have like a really serious show, I would grab another comedian I admire or a comedian who actually is an English teacher or something.
Yeah.
To have them actually look at my grammar.
Okay.
Yeah, not my grandmother, but my my grandma. Like make sure I pronunciate things correctly. Make sure I speak in a correct grammar term, and make sure all the language speak.
Here we go. I told you.
All right, there you go.
Mom's calling on the phone.
Okay, hold on. I will have to edit some stuff out of this. So, how do you deal with an audience when not, for some reason or other no one's really listening? Maybe it's an open mic and they're all having a chat.
That's a really, really good question. I'm here to kiss your ass, by the way.
Thank you. Yeah, that's a great question. Yeah.
No, actually, that's a really good question. In LA, most of the open mics are terrible because there's so many comedians.
Yeah.
Everyone wants to start an open mic or
Yeah.
want to start something so they can feel like they're doing something in the scene, and other people would kiss their ass or something, right?
Yeah.
So in an open mic, it's all comics who are preparing their material, or they don't give a fuck, or they wish you were dead, so they can step on top of your dead body.
Yes.
And it's all if it's a good open mic, usually it's a lottery.
Yeah.
You gotta buy a drink or pay $5 to even just to perform.
Yes.
And they don't laugh.
Nobody
Comedians
laughs.
don't laugh. Comedians, if they giggle, usually because you make a mistake.
They laugh
know
at things
you.
that go wrong. Yeah.
And also,
It's tough.
if it's a comedy club open mic, sometimes they claim that's when the clubs can, that's when they do their audition.
Yeah, they claim.
But a lot of times it's not.
No.
But you still gotta wait on the lottery.
Yeah.
Let's say there are 100 comics show up for that one open mic, weekly open mic, by the way. The Comedy Store is called a potluck. The Monday potluck.
Yeah.
They will pick about 15 comics. And everybody do 3 to 4 minutes. And if you're on that list, you're already lucky.
Yeah.
I got on once because I know somebody who work in there.
Yeah.
And I was an out-of-town comic at the time.
Yeah.
But now I moved there, I don't get that privilege.
Yeah.
Like, Steve, you're here to suffer with us. You're not an out-of-towner anymore.
Yeah.
So, that 3 to 4 minutes is important.
Yeah.
Because at the Comedy Store, sometimes the manager or the talent's manager is there.
Yeah.
Imagine if you really kill, you make a good impression with 3 to 4 minutes.
Yeah.
And that person remembers you.
Yeah.
But it will take a long time. Seriously, a long time. Because every time you have 100 comics to 150 comics.
Yeah.
Sign up for 17 spots.
It feels like an impossible goal.
You gotta show up.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, welcome to showbiz in LA, my friend.
Yeah.
You gotta be a hustler.
Yeah.
So that's actually a big part of the business. Is a business.
Do you have to deal with crappy microphones? You've been in venues where the microphone's awful?
Including my own show. That your microphone just didn't work.
Yeah.
Or you didn't even have a microphone. Or the venue speaker doesn't work.
Yeah.
There was one show I had to yell.
Yeah.
Fortunately I had some vocal training, the operatic singing training.
So you can project your voice.
Nation Dynamo! Like that, right?
Yeah.
That was good, right?
Yeah.
Anyway, so it's kind of like that. It was tiring.
Yeah.
It was weird. Fortunately, it was a small show. Only 4 people show up. Well, welcome to showbiz, my friend.
Yeah. How do you deal with? Do you ever get heckled? Are you? An actor?
Oh yes.
You do.
But fortunately, I'm disabled. People try, no matter how drunk they are.
Yeah.
They can tell I'm a disabled person.
Yeah.
Even the drunk people don't heckle me usually.
Yeah.
But I have gotten that a couple of times.
Yeah.
Still. One thing is because, they just absolutely don't agree with what you say.
Yeah.
Or they are drunk.
Yeah.
Or both, most of the time.
Do you have any way of dealing with it? So you're quite lucky in a way. It's one of the few advantages. Because you're disabled, a lot of people won't heckle you, but you're still going to get heckled
They would talk
sometimes.
over my set.
Yeah.
They would consider heckle nowadays.
Yeah. How do you deal? Do you have any ways of dealing
Either
with
you
that?
talk shit back to them.
Yeah.
First of all, I try to be polite because I'm not a mean comic.
Mm.
I'm not a, what do you call that? An insult comic.
Yeah, yeah.
So I would really literally just tell them, hey, come on, just use my show.
Yeah, yeah.
Usually I get a slightly,
Okay.
that's all you need.
Yeah.
And then they'll be, if they keep going from time to time, then you keep more fishes and more fishes.
So hopefully, just a polite, this is my show.
Yeah.
Just tone it, be a little bit quieter.
Yeah.
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 Okay.
Yeah.
You ever had any problems with layouts, where the layout of the room? Sometimes the audience can't see you. There's columns in the way.
You mean like almost every show?
Yeah. Okay.
I'm not big enough to be a big star to play in designated comedy clubs yet.
Yeah.
So most of the independent shows are not for comedy,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So columns, music.
Yeah.
Oh my God! People dancing on the other room.
Oh.
All that stuff. It happens all the time. You gotta know.
The only thing I can think of is just talk about the problems. So make it part of the comedy. If there's no MC, hide behind a chair and introduce yourself. It looks quite silly, but it might look funny. If there's a column in the way, point out there's a column in the way and start walking around the column.
Here's the thing. I don't care because
You don't care?
one thing about stand-up is it's about sound.
Mm.
Not too much about visual.
Yeah,
So
that's true.
That's a good
They
thing.
can hear you.
Especially for my act.
Yeah,
I don't do music or I don't do jumping around.
yeah, yeah.
I mean, obviously, I don't do jumping around with two crutches.
You don't do any gymnastics? No
I
head
would
flips?
have to charge way more.
You don't do your skateboarding?
No,
You
unfortunately.
don't bring
no.
on your skateboard double?
I wish I could.
Do you ever think about your clothes, what you wear when you go on stage?
A little bit because now I'm doing more showbiz, showbiz stuff. I'm a little bit more aware of how I dress.
Yeah.
At the beginning, I used to wear a suit and tie, like ready to go to work kind of
Yeah.
thing. After a while, like you perform in dive bar and all that, it's like it's a little too much.
Mm-hmm.
So I dressed down back a little bit, just casual smart. Is there such a
casual
term?
smart, yeah.
A little bit more normal than casual smart. That would be perfect for my act.
Yeah. Yeah, I always dress a little bit smarter than I would normally when I'm on stage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's always good. You know why? Especially for men, put on a suit.
Yeah.
A man or a lesbian, you put on a suit because people will say, "Oh, that person knows what he's talking about."
Yeah.
A little bit.
You need everything that
It
can
does
possibly help you.
It does
everything
help.
That how do you deal? I'm sure all comedians suffer from some form of nerves at some point, no matter how good they are. How do you deal with nerves?
Oh, you mean like every time I go up?
Yeah. This is my way. Again, it doesn't work on the podcast. I find if I sit, leaning right back on the chair, sticking my legs out as if I'm totally sort of couldn't care less, and I'm just like this. That works for me.
It's interesting. It's really interesting. For example, if I have a big show, nowadays I listen to my K-pop.
Oh.
Because K-pop to me is like my wake up music.
Okay.
I will listen to
Your Wicca music.
Wake up music.
Wake up music. Wake up.
Yeah, wake up. I'm still need to. I have things in my nose. Anyway, wake up music.
Yeah.
It's like like the Rocky music. So K-pop to me is that
Gets you motivated.
motivated. Or if I didn't I forgot to bring my MP3. For some reason, when people say, "Please welcome your next comic, Steve Lee,"
Yeah.
and it pumped me up. The clap,
Yeah.
just pumped me up for some reason. It pumped me up. It get me into that mode.
And when you're on stage,
Yeah,
no nerves.
not all the time. I mean, especially in open mic when it's all comics.
Yeah.
But when it's like their real audience, I can put on that facade mode.
Yeah.
In my head, like when you're an entertainer, you're like your alter ego kind of thing.
Yeah.
For some reason, that get me into my alter ego mode.
Yeah.
No matter how nervous I was before.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got into the
Yeah, I
moment.
get that. A switch goes on in your brain, and you're Steve, but you're not the same, not quite the same Steve.
Exactly.
That was off stage.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're Steve the entertainer.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Writing new material, getting new ideas. Have you got a process, or is it just here, there, and everywhere?
Oh, I am actually very calculated.
Oh,
that's the Asian part of me.
What are your stages for new material? How does it work?
Please come take my class. Actually, it is because I took my class. The class that I told you about.
Yeah.
Fortunately, I had a writer. That guy is really good. Not the guy who established the school. He's terrible. But the guy he hired at that period.
This is the class you took in San Francisco,
Yes. That guy is a good writer. He has a system. So it's basically boom, 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 1, 2, 3. It's almost like a math equation. Yep.
Okay.
Yep, absolutely.
Is it worth saying it briefly, or is it just impossible to describe?
Comparison.
Okay,
basically, it's like if you want to become a writer, but you gotta write your book in a party when you start talking to people. Hey, long story short.
Yeah.
So that's what stand-up is about.
Yeah.
So concentrate all your juice, your story, into that party. When you're at a party, you start telling strangers, hey, let me tell you this story. Long story short. Boom, that's what you do. Long story short. Cut out all the facts.
Okay.
Just get to the first, there's a term, first story, second story. That's it.
Cut the long story short, get straight to the...
First story is the premise, what we call the premise.
Yeah.
What is your story about? Boom, and then the misdirect.
Yeah.
Yep. Boom.
I love it.
I
love it. Here's another good one for you. Do you think stand-up comedy in Asia, because it's quite new, is also a bit racist? It's a bit of it's a totally off left field question.
All these things is all relative, right?
Yeah. And
there's no straight definition of what is racist or what's not. That's...
Everything's relative.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So that's the thing about stand-up comedy. People say, oh, you can't say that.
It depends on the situation.
Nobody said you can't say that. But you gotta know, if you say that, usually something like this happens.
Yeah.
But if you calculate everything, or if you have enough experience, you might be able to...
You know what you can say, you know what
exactly,
you can't say.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Is there there must be differences between US audiences and Asian audiences?
There is a big difference between your audience from the first show and the second show, even in the same city.
There you go.
Think about it.
Yeah.
There's a difference between, kind of like what I just mentioned, your wife early in the morning.
Yeah.
And there's a difference between you an hour ago and you an hour later.
Yeah.
Right?
There's a difference between me before my wife phoned and started shouting at me, and a difference right now.
Yep.
Yeah, I think you've got to be in the moment, and you can't be on autopilot.
That's why we got to do all those terrible open mics sometimes.
Yeah.
Because those are the only place that you could test your acts in front of at least people.
Yes. And we're wrapping things up now. We are wrapping things up.
Such a good time.
So, Steve Lee, thank you very much for talking to me.
You're welcome.
How important? We'll talk about your websites and things so people can check you out. How important is the web and the internet for you?
At least right now is a stepping stone.
Yeah.
I'm building an audience, or whoever spammers out there who click on my profile. There are a lot of them.
And which kind of things do you use? Is it your own website, Twitter and Facebook? Are they the big three?
I'm on everything under the name Steve Lee Comedy.
Okay, yes. Website, steveleecomedy.com. Twitter, @SteveLeeComedy. Facebook, Steve Lee Comedy. And I'll put all these in the
also
show notes.
Snapchat, everything. I'm on everything.
You're everywhere.
Steve Lee Comedy.
All right.
Yeah, I will announce my show like wherever I go to a place or go. I have a big show. I will announce it on all my social media.
Yeah.
So if I do have people want to follow me, please do.
Yeah, please do.
That's how we get paid or something. Not even get paid. Like that's how we get noticed.
Get noticed
by clubs.
And once you get noticed, then you might get paid eventually.
Yeah, exactly. Please follow us because the club owners, like for example, Laugh Factory.
Yeah.
I passed the audition twice.
Yeah.
That means I'm good enough.
Yeah.
But it doesn't mean a thing for the club because the club only promote people who are already famous.
Right.
Or who have some kind
of following.
Yeah. So, yep.
So, that's right. All these details will be in the notes.
Yeah, and do something good for the disabled. That would be it.
Thank you very much, man.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I have fun.